see the next slide, please. Let me tell you how big Florida is. The purple region of Florida, the panhandle region of Florida, has as many voters as the state of Colorado.
Wow.
The green portion of Florida, in central Florida, has as many voters as the state of Virginia. South Florida has as many voters as Missouri. And the entire state of Florida has about as many voters as the entire Mountain Time Zone. It's big, folks. It is so big. But, you know, we ask ourselves, how can it be so big and our votes still be so important? I'm going to show you. Hang on one second. I'll tell you how this makes a difference. Now, in 2010, educators had probably the biggest reason to go to the polls in November of 2010 that they have since I've been involved with this organization going on 15, 20 years. Maureen thinks it's longer than that, but I can't possibly be that old. But in November of 2010, what was on the line? We had just finished fighting the battle over Senate Bill 6. Anybody remember that little bill, Senate Bill 6? And we won. And we won. We took to the states and put an incredible amount of pressure on a politician who did what we needed him to do. And we all knew, there is not a member in this organization that did not know the day after that happened that the next governor was going to make that call again in the next legislative session. So explain to me how in November of 2010, Alex Sink didn't do as well as Barack Obama had done 2 years before, even though she outperformed Barack Obama in 27 of our 67 counties. She got more votes than he did in 27 out of 67 counties, but she still lost. Let me show you why. Next slide, please. If Democrats in Broward County, Leon County, and Palm Beach County had turned out in the same percentages in November of 2010 that they had turned out in 4 years before in the previous gubernatorial election when we really didn't even have a candidate, she would have gotten 67,000 more votes. In 3 counties if the turnout had been as high. 3 counties. 67,000 more votes. She lost by 63,000 votes. How does that happen? What is probably the most troubling, we're going to go down and then we're going to come back up. And I can't even look at this next slide. Of our members, 1 in every 5 did not vote in November of 2010. 1 out of every 5. 20% of our members. Now this is in November after the Senate Bill 6 fight. How does that happen? Are our memories that short? Are we that busy? Did we let it get away from us? We did. We did. We did. And I don't know how many more pieces of mail or how many phone calls we could have turned out or made. I do know that it is the efforts of people in this room, the folks in the buildings, that are most effective at making sure people know what is at stake when there are elections. It is you and you alone that can convince the people in your buildings that elections have consequences. We are living with those consequences today. In September, we are all going to get a piece of paper that is the result of those consequences from November in 2010. We have to remind people of that so that they understand that in November of 2012, we can make a difference there. Let me have the next slide. I often get asked by small counties now, can we really make a difference? This is not Palm Beach. This is a small county that I just talked to not too long ago about a school board election. And let me just run through this with you very quickly. In that county, there was 315,000 registered voters. In the primary, which is where all your school board races are, on the primary ballot, remember folks, they're on the primary, not the general. That's where you elect your local school board people. The turnout was a whopping 16%. 16% of the voters came out to vote. Only 50,000 people voted in that race. How many members did we have? 2,600. What difference can 2,600 people make when 50,000 people turn out? Well, of that 2,600 members, 1,400 of them voted in the primary in 2008. Only 846 of them voted in the primary in 2010. In the school board race that year, 215 votes separated those two candidates. Do you know how many people, how many members of that 2,600 did not vote, even though that election was won by 215 votes? 1,200. 1,200. They owned that race 6 times over, but they didn't turn out. Elections matter, and small votes and small percentages make a big difference. I'm going to go through this a little more quickly. Let me pick it up. Right here. Okay. I want to talk to you a little bit more about what we can do to make a difference. But one of the things I want to talk to you about when we get to the end is how we make a positive difference. How we make a positive contribution to the things that happen in Tallahassee. And I want you to know that for Palm Beach CTA, one of your finest moments was sending Shelly Vanna to Tallahassee some years ago, and she didn't back down from anything. We were pleased to have her there. We were just so grateful to finally have, you know, in Tallahassee we've got 160 people who claim to know everything about education there is to know. It was nice to finally have one who really did. One who really did. And I hope, and I really hope, and we're going to talk about this a little more, that you will send us some more of those good folks from Palm Beach County that can help us in Tallahassee. But I think Shelly's going to come up here.
My finest moment, since there's 2 of us here, my finest